I'm on Highway 7, headed north from Clinton, Missouri, and it looks like a little bit of rain ahead of me, but we're getting there anyway, eventually. Is anybody out there? We're, let's see, I don't even know right now exactly how many miles long we are. I don't usually check how many miles I've been. Looks like I'm 27 miles to 71 highway with an estimated arrival time in Nebraska City at 11:10 in the morning. Got nobody watching. Well, I had a pretty good time with my mom. I spent my birthday there, and let's see, what is today? Is today the 3rd? No, today's the 4th. Today's Friday the 4th. I got there on Tuesday. So I spent all day Wednesday and all day Thursday working on moving boxes out to her garage. She had packed a whole lot of boxes and had them stacked in the rooms inside. So I moved them out to the garage and stacked them very neatly against the wall in the garage so that she would have plenty of room remaining inside the house to be able to pack her items and get them in boxes so my brother can come and help her move them over to her new place. Good morning, Malcolm. I had dinner with my mother and my brother and his wife yesterday evening. Had a fried catfish dinner. It was pretty good. Looks like I'm going to be on the road for another 2 days. Day and a half, 2 days. I am about as far away from home as I'm going to get at roughly noon this morning. And I will be picking up a hoard of pennies, probably, I'm going to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 or 400 pounds. And I'll be headed across Iowa going east back toward North Carolina. And that will be my goal. Initial goal will be to make it to hopefully Ohio. Hoping I can make it to at least central Ohio, maybe Columbus, spend the night, and then get up, I guess that would be tomorrow morning, and start heading home. So how's everybody else doing? Is it hot everywhere, or is it just hot where I go? Because we hit, I think we hit a high of 103 degrees yesterday. Just ridiculous. Especially when you're working in a garage with no air conditioning. That was nice. Kind of drains your, it drains you. Yes. Is I-49 Old 71? If that's true, yes. I'm going to be going through Harrisonville. Yeah, it looks like I've got 23 miles to where I turn off on 71. I just went through Urich, or Urich, however you pronounce it. So I had my I had my experiences while I was out. I was actually able to use my Spanish the other morning, what little Spanish I do know, when headed through southern Missouri. I was at a truck stop to get gas and to get something to drink, and I was standing in line with my bottled tea, and the guy in front of me was having trouble communicating with the cashier. And the cashier asked him what he would like, and he said something to the effect of gas on whatever pump gas out here. And she said, well, how much? And he said, yes. And she said, no, I need to know how much you need. He said, yes. Okay, and then she said, well, but I need to know how much gas you want. Yes. And so he kind of like, well, I know we're not getting good communication here. So he's looking around. Then he asked her, he says, you speak Spanish? She said, no. And so he kind of looked around a little bit. So I asked him in Spanish, how much gas do you need? And he said, oh, 32. I said, you need 32 gallons at $32. He said, $32. I said, okay. So I told the lady he needs $32 worth of gas on the pump out there. She said, oh, okay. And she rang him up, and he had trouble with his PIN number on his card. And I saw that he was punching 5 digits. And I think he was maybe trying to enter a zip code. And so I told him in Spanish again, it's looking for his identification number, not his zip code. He said, oh, okay. And so he typed in a different number and it worked. But I thought it was kind of interesting that, having had no really good professional education in Spanish, just know what I've picked up from what I've seen and heard over my years of existence, I was able to communicate with a person well enough in their language to get the point across and get business transacted so I could buy my tea and get back on the highway. Almost to St. Louis, huh? Well, I know that you got a job to do and you got work and everything. I didn't bother talking with you about coming back through. I want to talk with you sometime on the phone, Adam, about what you were doing that night when I was with you in Farm Dog's house. I want to kind of try to get sort of a setup kind of like that so I can start doing some simple whatnots. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Let's see. I've got nothing really going on. Just a drive up to Nebraska, pick up some coins, and head east today. It's really going to be kind of just more or less a driving day, and that's about it. Just a bunch of moving around. And I'll probably come on a couple more times today just to check in with everybody and give a good idea of where I am. A lot of you might see that I have a new spot right up here in my forehead. That happened when I was moving a box. I was twisting around, moved the box, and I stood up and didn't realize I was that close to the wall and hit a shelf with my forehead. Beamed me in the forehead pretty quickly. So I asked my mom, I said, is that going to leave a mark? And she said, no. I said, okay, good. I went in about 30 minutes later and looked in the mirror, and I had a red spot in the middle of my forehead. So, yeah, that's what did that. I think I moved, I don't know, I'm going to say somewhere to the tune of about 1,000 pounds of boxes and stuff, boxes and tubs and things. Reorganized them in the garage, and then moved a bunch of stuff from her back bedrooms into the garage. Make it a lot easier, a lot simpler for my brother to help her get all that moved over to her new house. She doesn't take possession of the house till the 11th of August, so we couldn't do anything, go inside or anything like that. Massive amount of damage done in the area by a storm that hit Sunday night. I got there Tuesday, so it was 2 nights before I got there. Entire trees down, large branches down. Some trees fell into houses and partially crushed houses. I've seen porches crushed, cars crushed, just by trees coming down. It was kind of a nasty storm. Nobody's really saying anything. Does anybody have anything they would like to offer to the conversation? because I'm running out of things to say to myself. I don't know. Seems like every one of these trips that I take, I get out on the road and then I have to stop in a parking lot and take a power nap. Then I can move on again. Ain't nobody need a pontoon boat. There's one sitting right here. But, oh, you're working. Okay. Well, that's fine. If you want to work and listen, that's great. But yeah, I took my power nap in Clinton this morning. I started off at about 5 o'clock in the mornings when I got off. And it's taken me 3 hours to get to Kansas City instead of 2.5, so it's not that big of a deal. Well, hello, Mr. Worley. Good morning, sir. I hope everybody likes the stuff that I've picked up. I've got a bunch of new stuff. I don't think there's anything of really, really high grade or high value or anything to that effect. But I got a lot of nice minor items. A lot of date mint mark wrapped circulated wheats. That's what this whole pickup, we're back. I think what I got in Nebraska City is somewhere to the tune of about 12 bags worth of pennies, plus, and that's all wrapped by date and mint mark, and then plus date and mint mark, and then plus two full memorial uncirculated rolls. So not really much, just more, let's just say that. I picked up more while I was in Illinois, and I've picked up more in Nebraska, and then I'll head home with more. Let's see, the license plate world, I'm doing pretty well in the license plate world. I went to a couple of antique flea markets while I was in the Ozark area, and I ran into a dealer selling plates in the early 70s that are in really good condition for way under what I think they should be sold for. So I bought all of them. So now I've got Oklahoma license plates in the 70s. For those who understand the plates, they may be year manufacture plates for muscle cars or whatnot for people from Oklahoma. Year manufacture plates are plates that you can actually place on new cars that are old plates that you can register as your current license plate, put a sticker on them, and you're good to go. I remember when the section of highway that I'm driving on right now was built. My son was about a year old. I remember coming up here with his mother, and we were driving on the 2-lane section over there, and while they were building the 2-lane section over here to make 4 lanes out of the highway. It just kind of goes to show you how old I really am. I've run into all kinds of year-old stuff. My mother somehow, someway, for some reason, was saving a t-shirt that I used to wear as a child, and it's a t-shirt of all 26 baseball teams. Of course, back then there was no such thing as the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, the Marlins, the Nationals. Didn't have any of that. In fact, it was probably printed around the first year that the Blue Jays and the Mariners were around. I'm figuring the shirt was from 1975, 76, 77. But I remember wearing it quite a lot as a child because I loved that shirt. It had the team emblems for all 26 teams on it. So you got to see the old Tigers emblem and the old Cubs emblem, stuff like that. It was kind of neat. But, so I've got it in the car. I'm going to take it home with me. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm going to take it home with me. Found a few other things. Some of the newspapers that my picture was in when I took, not my picture, but the photograph I took of the moment of the crash at the Ramstein Flugzeug airshow crash in August of 1988. I have Stars and Stripes, USA, other newspapers where my photo was published on the front page of the newspaper. I have a copy of an old German magazine that was a news magazine. It had 3 or 4 page double spread cover of the crash itself and the aftermath of the crash. There was another newspaper, I believe it was a Kansas City newspaper from the day Richard Nixon resigned in August of 74. August of 74, I think it was. And I have another newspaper. It was a full Kansas City Star from the day the astronauts landed on the moon in July of 1969. I don't know why my mother kept that stuff, but she did. Now I have it. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I had there's a full, I think it's Memphis Commercial Appeal newspaper from the day after Elvis died. It'd be August 17th, 1977. I do dates like that. I was at dinner with my brother yesterday evening, and he said, "Oh, your birthday was this week, wasn't it?" And I said, "Yes, it was." He said, "Oh, what was it, the 31st?" Or I said, "No, it's the 1st of August." He's like, "Oh, well, happy birthday." I said, "Thank you, June 13, 1966. He's like, "Oh, yeah, now I'm embarrassed. I know his birthday, he doesn't know mine." That's kind of common between my brother and I. He doesn't seem to remember a lot of things going back in time. Wish he remembered more. I'd like to see more photos of him when he was younger. Know more about what he did when he was younger. Because, I mean, we didn't meet until I was 50 years old, about 5 years ago. And so, it'd always be interesting to know what your brother was doing when he was growing up, a separate life from you. On my way to Nebraska to pick up coins across Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana. You guys have a great day. Stay safe, stay warm. Hopefully you stay warm. It's been a tough couple of days with the weather. It's been really hot. I'm glad to get out of the heat for a change. But I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys sometime in the very near future. How does that sound? All right, well, let's see how I shut this down. You guys have a great day.